It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. And as always, I have the ladies of Your View with me. Hello. Hi, Maria.
Fine, thank you. What's happened to me at the weekend? Okay. Yes, I had a radio show, Family Life. I went on a radio show.
Yes. Yeah, you're a guest on a radio show.
I was a guest on a radio show, and we're talking about healthy living.
Yeah.
Many people actually tuned in to listen and watch. So thank you, everyone, for for the support. And it was really nice to get the feedback. Many people say, oh, I learned a lot. And then I got many new followers who were asking, when can I join the next class? And a few people asked me, were you the one that helped Morayo? There was one post Morayo put up one time. Were you the one that helped? I was like, yes. Oh, okay. Then, so Morayo is bringing everyone in here. So I really enjoyed it. There's something about radio. It seems much more intimate than TV. TV, we have everybody here, the crew. Radio,
just cubicle. Some are bigger, but then you have like this personal thing that you're talking to the entire world, but they're not seeing you.
They can't see you.
Yeah. This love relationship. Cool. I hear radio is really cool. All right. Name Akasha Zibere. Let her properly announce it, please.
Okay, let me announce. This is the good part of the week. So Wednesday, the Independent Concerned Citizens Group of Nigeria, an NGO, decided to acknowledge my effort on my side of town in Badagry axis, and they gave me a People's Ambassador Extraordinary Award. Thank you very much.
And you all know this is well deserved because we all know how she fights for that community.
Since I couldn't make it, they decided to bring it again to this place. So thank you for the effort. Thank you for going out of your way to recognize me.
That's very, very thoughtful of them.
Yes.
Should we say that the one that happened, you also saw results? You don't want to mention
Yes. So because I shouted about the craziness happening, the chaos happening on the Badagry Road, I sought sanity, a bit of sanity this morning. Thank you, sir, for responding to that as well.
All right, Topsy, how are you?
I'm good. So I had my plan for the weekend was to rest. I did do. I tried to rest yesterday, micro shading and lash extension, but I rested inside the micro shading and lash extension. It's just that I'm an Ijebu girl. When you give me opportunity to make money, the sleep will fly away. So I knew that if I say I want to sleep, I'll just be thinking, you want to rest where there's money to be made, but. Something really, something that shows you're human happened to me. So I did something like I failed my own standard. I did something that even I felt very ashamed about, when it confronted me. And this morning, my prayer was still, forgive yourself, because now I would even appeal for forgiveness from those I offended. But like, even I feel like this is not you. This is not what you should do. So it's a bit, it stares you in your face that you can also goof. So I'm like, pray God, may we not be tempted in a way that will fall.
We're all goofers.
We're all goofers.
I shocked myself.
Yeah, it happened.
And I didn't like it.
I've had that experience before, when I know that this one was just, I'm right.
Why did you do this?
Did I do that? But at least you know.
Yeah, I know.
Please, I have to mention, today is Senator Oluremi Tinubu's 60th birthday!
So like, it's a full segment to celebrate you, Ma.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
So we are definitely giving her like half of our show today because interestingly, I've been disturbing her that I wanted to interview her. And she's been telling me that, well, Mariah, I don't want to be interviewed, Jerry. I said, Mariah, you're going to be 60. Please allow me. So she now told everybody, I know there's only Mariah that's going to interview her this year. So I'm thankful for the opportunity. I came around to interview her. We're going to show part of that interview later on the show. But happy birthday, Ma.
Happy birthday.
She's aging
a picture, yeah.
As in,
beautiful picture. Beautiful. I have to also mention one more person very quickly. She sent me a message. My name is Abimbola Aino. She is from Festac Town. She lives in Festac Town, Amu Odofin, Lagos. And today she's 40 years old. Happy birthday, Abimbola Aino. Many more years to you. Amen. She sent me a message. You're so lucky I just saw that message. I said, because Nima is on the show today, let me still show Nima that. Me too, I remember. Thank you very much. All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll breeze through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to start with The Nation. Obaseki, I owe my victory to people's collective will. Picture here of him and his deputy. CBN probes 71 for suspected forex deals. That's 71 companies. Thousands bid Emir of Zazao farewell. Presidents, governors salute Senator Tinubu at 60. Concern over delay in tipping justice for Supreme Court. 8 die in Lagos-Ibadan road accident. Okay, which story are we taking? And there's a rider here, says NISAL to insure 3.6 million farmers. Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to take the farmer's story. So you know the flooding has been taking place across the country. Many farmers have lost their crop for an entire year. So now the national, it's a new project that they are launching. It's called the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk Sharing System for Agricultural Lending. They are working with NICOM, which is the Nigerian National Insurance Commission, to develop a specific product that will be launched through public and private insurance companies to ensure that about 3.6 million farmers who are in the line of producing food, subsistence smallholder farmers, have insurance that when they lose their crop through flood and natural disasters, they will be covered. And I think it's a good one. Let's now see the implementation going down to the villages to get them to sign up is very important, not just in paper.
So quickly, some parties have raised concern about on the president's excitant delay in appointing the remaining justices of the Supreme Court. According to the Constitution, there should be 21, and the NJC had recommended about 8 to be appointed, but the president is still delaying on those appointments. So they're wondering why the deficit, why is the pension.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. Wild jubilation as Obaseki defeats Ezeyamu. APC alleges foul play. 14-year-old girl raped to death. Work on Oyo Dry Ports project in progress. Kwara windstorm. 1 dead, other missing, 7 worshippers escape death. Health workers resume as Jehosu ends warning strike. Bandits on reprisal kidnap. They kidnapped 42 persons in Zamfara. And EFCC has recovered 4.4 billion naira looted from our agency, says NHIS boss. Interesting. I wish I read that story. Okay, the young 14-year-old child that was raped. I read that story.
I read the story.
Okay.
So I can't remember her name.
Her name is Fatia Adewoye.
Adewoye. She was sent on errand by her mom to buy her gas, and she was, according to report, last seen with someone in an area who is suspected to have raped her in an uncompleted building close to her grandmother's house. From the body, she was brutally raped, murdered, and her personal effects left around her. The mother is insisting on justice for her girl, and I hope that the proper things are done. But the poor man, the young man last seen with her has run away from the area, so they're looking for that for him as well.
Okay. Obaseki, which do you want to take?
Okay, yeah, so Obaseki he's well, of course, happy for his victory, and he has come out to thank the people of Edo State. He said his victory is because the people of Edo State have spoken, and he went ahead to also thank the president for his support, the security operatives for doing their job, INEC officials as well. And he's happy. And of course, we have APC, and he's the contender who already are saying that there may have been some foul play with the results. So
well, it's important that he also notes that the various communities that didn't vote for him, they didn't vote for him for a reason. So he needs to go and attend to those communities as soon as possible. So at least in the next 4 years, they can say that they'll feel included in what he's done so far. Moving on now, let's pick another paper, The Daily Sun. APC kicks as Obaseki conquers Ezeyamu Oshomole re-elected. I don't know how Oshomole is in this picture. Okay, flood displaces scores in Kano, Nasarawa. Nigeria has a long way to go in leadership, says Obasanjo. Emir of Zazzau Idris dies after 45 years reign. And in security, your excuse is no longer cogent. Northeast elders tell Buhari and service chiefs. Okay.
The Emir of Zazzau.
Okay. Yeah, let's start with the Emir of Zazzau.
So the 18th Emir of Zazzau passed on yesterday, and he was buried. As it said, he died at the age of 84. He was crowned Emir of Zazzau in 1975, so that's 45 years. Many condolence messages have been going out from the president, the Senate president, and many other dignitaries. And we also saw the pictures and the videos of the thousands of people who were there.
That video did not show like there was anything called
There's nothing
COVID
like that
in Nigeria.
No.
You know, but there were 2 sad stories. One, the flooding taking place is heavy. Kwara, Kano, Nasarawa, the governors, Abdullahi Ganduje, Abdurrahman, Abdurazak, Abdullahi Sule, the loss of lives have taken place already, and they're asking for relief material to be speedily brought to their community. Another thing happened in Imo State, where 32 church members died. They went for a burial ceremony. It was a 32-seater bus, and the bus was overloaded. So somehow in between the drive, there was an accident. They fell into the river. About 32 died. About 5, and they were coming from a burial ceremony. About 5 of them are still struggling for their life.
In a related story, in Lagos State also, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, near some school, there a van actually had a tire burst, flipped over and caught fire. It was a lone accident, and all 11 people in that vehicle died.
Oh my God, so
really,
many
really
sad
sad.
stories. I had those out to all those who lost their lives.
I wanted to take the Northern Elders calling on the removal of the service chiefs, joining voices with other voices to call for the removal of the service chiefs. And their concerns are not far-fetched, because there's a story on an area where bandits attacked. They attacked Gobirawa Kali village in Maru local government area of Zamfara. And imagine, they just took away 42 people on a reprisal attack. So one bandit had come in, tried to kidnap one person. He was overpowered, and his AK-47 was seized from him. And so he went back and came back for a reprisal with all the bandits, the entire team, and they just walked people out of their village. So the president cannot continue to keep quiet and act like these service chiefs are performing wonders. With the records that we keep taking on the papers every day, you can't continue to rely on the reports that they give you. People are feeling insecure. Can you please find an independent team to do a security check and give you another feedback?
He told us a few months back that there was going to be a major rejig, that we are still waiting to see what if the major rejig would mean.
I can only imagine how it is to sleep in your house and wake up somewhere else. They just escort you in.
Unfortunately, we need to move on. Let's take Daily Independence. APC blames Oshomole for defeat, urges sanction. Buhari asked Obaseki to show grace, humility, and victory. Johesu suspends warning strike, alleges intimidation. And revenue drop may delay Nigeria's World Bank loan request. Lightning strike kills 15 cows in Ekiti. I wanted to take that Ekiti story, but I'm not sure how I missed it. Let's move on to Vanguard then.
Johesu, though.
You have a Johesu, go ahead.
So Johesu have called off their warning strike, and they said, okay, they have... Sorry?
Threats.
No, the warning strike, the threat of the warning strike, yes, because there's like an expanded meeting that they have had with the federal government, and they're still saying that, well, these are our concerns. We've told you all we're asking is, you know, consolidated medical salary structure since 2014, among other things. And so because of this expanded National Executive Council, they have decided that they'll wait until when they hear from the federal government to know what their next step of action will be, the next line of action will be.
Let me just take Vanguard very quickly. Edo Obaseki wins as EPC is a cry foul. CBN investigates 55 firms over forex infractions. Insecurity, we're tired of excuses from service chiefs. Northeast elders lament. I think Nima took that story. Inflation, forex scarcity, worsen woes in manufacturing sector. I really wanted to read. It was a special story. Okay, I think that is all we can take on front page reviews. Any other page story?
We didn't take Obasanjo speaking out, and Obasanjo is speaking out. And I think that there are a lot of challenges that we're seeing. We didn't used to have natural disaster before. The natural disasters are everywhere. There's a whole lot that needs to be done. So let's not just wipe away whatever Obasanjo is saying as this person talking.
So there was one story I think we should take. That's the BBC Africa Eye saying that they uncovered that.
It's on Daily Trust. You can show Daily Trust now. Let me just take that very quickly. How Obaseki defeated Eze Yamu. The BBC Africa Eye on Lagos explosion. New evidence contradicts official explanation. And that's the picture we're talking about, Emma, the crowd.
The crowd. I said it was a lie.
That's his crowd right there. Yeah, go ahead.
So March
15th. That's his crowd right there. Yeah, go ahead.
So March 15th, we remember the explosion that happened in Shoba, where even a secondary school was affected. And the story was that a truck had run into some gas cylinders, and that's what caused the explosion. But on further investigation, some specialist engineers said that it was actually a pipe line that was there and that had overstayed its use and finally burst open, and that was what caused the explosion. Although NMPC is still insisting that that is not what happened and that all their pipelines are in good conditions, they are constantly being maintained, but they're asking them, watch that video and you'll see exactly what happened.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thank you for staying with us. So our first focus this morning is on education, which is believed to be the bedrock of any country at all. For many communities to be transformed, the education of its residents and people must possess transformative power. How can we make quality education cheaper and affordable for Nigerians in general? Joining us on this show to help us shed some light on this is Professor Ngozi Osarenren, Department of Education Foundation, University of Lagos, a counseling psychologist and former Honorable Commissioner for Education at Edo State. Good morning, madam. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Yes. So the issue, we're going to talk very quickly on education because obviously it's an issue that many Nigerians have, not just because of our curriculum, but more of the output, what we produce. In your view as a professor, what exactly do you think can be done to ensure that the young people that are graduating are actually transformed adults to fix Nigeria and take Nigeria to a better place?
Thank you very much. What do? First and foremost, we have to tell ourselves some home truths. Some home truths in the sense that, are we giving the children, our students, what we ought to give them? Do they have the requisite infrastructure and instructional materials that will prepare them for the 21st century work? Are they also being prepared adequately to fit in the life after school? Yes and no, I will say, because if you check very well, if we want to, like I said, we have to tell ourselves some home truths. If you check very well, most of our schools do not have what exactly they need to function effectively. It is not, we talk about the infrastructure, we talk about instructional materials, then we talk about a very key thing there, the teacher. How motivated is the teacher? Even if you have all the beautiful classrooms, all the beautiful structures, and you bring all the textbooks, all the enabling things, and the teacher that is supposed to impart knowledge, the teacher that is not well motivated will not impart.
Right.
Why do I say that? One, we have to look at the issue of employing qualified and appropriate teachers. And when you have employed qualified and appropriate teachers, then for crying out loud, they must be motivated. Motivation is very, very key.
All right, let me pause you for a second.
Extremely important.
Yes.
And until we factor those two, appropriate qualification that will give you an effective and efficient teacher.
Right. Okay.
Then we talk about a motivated teacher.
All right, let me pause you for a second. Let me get a few more questions in for you.
We'll be cruising home
right.
and happy to have wonderful graduates that will fit into the society.
Okay, let me get it.
Functioning
Nima,
members of society.
go ahead,
Ma,
Nima.
well done. Sir, Ma, you have released a lot of all the problems we're facing in the educational sector. Like, you summed up everything. And we've discussed this thing several times on our show. We know what the problems are to a large extent. But we're worried when we have people as... Can you hear me, Ma?
Can you hear me,
Hello,
Ma?
I can't hear you.
Okay, so we're asking you another question. Can you hear us? Is it clear, Ma?
It's very faint.
Oh.
And my microphone is already 97%.
Okay, so we'll try to turn it off from our own end. Okay, so go ahead.
So I was saying that, let me increase my pitch. I was saying that you've x-rayed most of the problems, and we have discussed this several times on our show. That what concerns us right now is the fact that knowing we have people as smart as you in the educational system, what are the solutions you are preferring for to solve Nigeria's problem. We all know that the solution comes from the academia, that they are the future. We have a large population of young people.
Speak up. I can barely hear you.
Oh, wow.
Increase your mic. Please increase your mic.
All right, let me come to Nima. Nima, maybe your mic is better.
Okay, ma. Thank you for what you've said, but most of the times when we talked about this in the past, the solutions usually are that this generation we finished, how do we catch them young? In countries where they have a successful turnout of, graduates and, creative graduates, they usually do not have the system that we have for our children in kindergarten and nursery here. We start too early here. What do you prefer? What age will you say is most appropriate to start children in school? And how exactly should we start them? Is it with the memorization of the sounds, the letters, and all that exams that we give children? Or what exactly will be the criteria to teach?
Thank you. You see, because for me, a lot of things are not done the way they ought to be done. Why do I say that? We have the national policy on education, and it's very explicit what is supposed to be done. For instance, children at certain ages, especially those in the nursery, kindergarten level, they're supposed to learn through play method. They're supposed to be playing, not the memorization, like you said, that the teachers are giving them. Because again, we don't have effective monitoring and inspection of our schools. Because if we do, then the teachers will be the appropriate teachers. I had told you we need to employ qualified and appropriate teachers. If you employ a teacher that did not have early childhood education training, he or she will not know and will not understand what the method of teaching should be. Right. Oftentimes, the employee, yes, the person has a qualification in education, or the person has a degree, or has an NCE. Right. But there's a difference. If that person has not been exposed to early childhood education experience and knowledge, that is what will help to enable the teacher capture these people. Okay. Because you are not supposed to, in fact, by the time a child finishes what they call nursery 1, that child is supposed to only be able to recognize 1 to 10 and letters A to G. But you find out a child that is 2 years whose psychomotor skills are not yet well developed, who has not developed the manipulative skills of the fingers, being forced to write 1 to 100. Right. How do we do that?
Thank you, Ma. Let me pause you for a second.
It is very, very wrong. And until we start doing the right thing, how do we do the right thing? Let monitoring and evaluation of the school system be holistic. Okay. It is not enough to come to a school and say you are coming to do monitoring, and you go to the office of the headmaster or headmistress or the office of the principal, and they give you their visitor's note, you sign, they thank you for coming, and you walk.
Let me pause you for a second, Ma. Thank you. Let me pause you for a second. Go ahead, Maria.
Okay, Prof. We have many times we have seen some states talk about retraining their teachers, and sometimes when they put the camera on these teachers, we're quite surprised at how almost uneducated some of them come across. They're barely able to write their names, so these are people who are supposed to teach the next generation. My question is, where are those who are qualified, and how are the unqualified ones getting into schools?
Those who are qualified are there. It all boils that I said earlier on, we have to talk about political will. Everything has been slaughtered on the altar of politics. When it's time for employment, This big man will bring name. This legislator will bring name. This politician will bring name. Is my relation, puts him there, put her there, without considering the requisite qualification of the candidate. And when you bring them in, even when you try to train, you can't give what you don't have. Once you don't give what you can't give what you don't have. That is just the basic thing. Because employment should not be politicized. Employment of teachers especially should not be politicized, because we are talking about building and molding
next generation
characters
Right.
of our young.
Right. Okay.
And we're talking of role models.
Yeah.
You have to bring in somebody that has something to give. And they are there if only we can throw away politics. But they will tell you that there's no way you can do away with politics in every
Right.
situation.
Okay, let me
like
throw in
this.
one final question for you,
I
ma'am.
don't agree.
Okay.
If we want the best,
All right.
we know how to get the best.
Let me throw in one question for you. Go ahead, Nima.
This bothers me. What you just said bothers me. What can we, because now we've agreed that the system has failed, what can parents do? If you have a young toddler, for instance, and you have to put them in school because you have to work like a working mother that most of us are, how do you deal with class work when they bring them? I used to have this habit with my first child. I send back the homework that is too much. Once she does one question, I take back the remaining 10 to the school. So the school deals with whatever they want to do with that. How do we come in, to mitigate this? How do we do it?
As parents, I had said earlier on that we need to talk about and focus on monitoring. We need to monitor the learning output, the learning achievement. We need to monitor what is happening. And that monitoring must be done in such a way that it is not, like I said, not the infrastructure. They have fine classroom, they have an air conditioner. And as parents, there is nothing sacrosanct in you as a parent looking for the national policy on education. Is a public document. You read it. Yes, parents have to work. I totally agree, because I also work. But you also have to think of quality time. Quality time to spend and understand what is going on. Because if you don't understand what is going on, you may not even know that what is going on is wrong.
Unfortunately, ma'am, we have to wrap up at this time. Thank you, Professor. Unfortunately, I have to wrap up at this point. But we'll be speaking with Professor Ngozi Osarenren, Department of Education, Foundations, University of Lagos, a counseling psychologist and former Honorable Commissioner for Education in the state. We have to bring you back, ma'am, because there's so much talk on education, and you seem to be the perfect peg in the right hole for this conversation. So, ma, I hope you allow us to bring you back at some point to discuss further on education. Thank you very much, ma'am. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we celebrate Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So today we are giving the last segment of the show to celebrate Senator Oluremi Tinubu. This is a woman that has, for me personally, she has been there for me in so many ways. And I would like you to allow me to share why Senator is important to me. One of the darkest moments of my life, during the time where I told, when I mentioned on television that my husband, I would not allow my husband to bath my daughter, and the whole of the world seemed like was on my head. Everybody was criticizing me and insulting me. So I sent her a message, and I'd like you to allow me to read this message so you can hear what I sent to her. I said, Mommy, thank God you don't follow social media. The spirit of error came over me, and made me simply imply that my husband is a pedophile. I have been trending since Wednesday. Everyone is calling my husband names. He gave me serious tongue lashing last night. He was in camp and did not know and did not appreciate the gravity of what happened. This has got to be the most painful time of my life. I read social media comments and I'm disgusted at what people were saying about my husband. Femi stands on the altar every morning to lead praise and worship in church at 5:30 a.m. He does not deserve this embarrassment. I feel so shameful. How can I use my own hand to mess up my own husband publicly? Mommy, my own mother is in camp and she has no idea also. So sorry I had to put this on you. I just needed a trusted mind to hear my side. I'm so sorry. We both cried last night when the damage dawned on us. I feel so sorry. When Senator Tinubu saw this message, she rang me immediately and she says, Morayo, I am in camp right now. I have pastors with me. We're going to pray for you. But what I want you to do, listen to me very carefully. She said, Morayo, I want you to go on TV tomorrow and I want you to apologize to your husband because you don't owe anybody an explanation except your husband. So I want you to go to TV tomorrow, tell your husband, look straight in the camera and tell him you're sorry for what you did and then move on to your show. And the apology you saw was exactly what I did the very next day. And then the moment she got back from camp, she called me and my husband, so we should come and see her in the house. She sat us down, counseled us, because Femi was, yes, he was a man, but no matter how, the words can really hurt. So she was able to counsel both of us, and I'll be forever grateful for that moment because she helped to restore me and even my confidence and all that. So to me, it's a personal thanksgiving to her, to Senator Oluremi for being a mother, a mentor, and a guide, and the opportunity given to me to also interview. And I'd like you guys to say a few words before we show the interview. If there's anything you want to say.
So I had the privilege of interviewing her on the show like 3 years ago before the election, and then we now went for that program where she was doing a give back, and I heard her story, and I hear what she said off the cameras. What I'll say is that she's a woman of many sides. I am extremely looking forward to that interview that you did because I know you would have gotten a lot from her. She's gone through a lot of seemingly bad experiences and she's risen out of it victorious, and I think that she's someone that should share her story more. Lives be touched by it. I celebrate her for what she stood for against all odds, what she stands for on the National Assembly as a senator and speaking up concerning all those things she does. So I think she deserves all this.
So let me quote you for a moment. I'm going to show the first half of the interview. When we come back, we'll then continue the banter on it. Stay with us. Look at this. Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Welcome, madam, to the show.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday. Today's your birthday. We celebrate with you. And one of my first question to you, Ma, is what are you most grateful for? It's your day and God has obviously blessed you. What is that thing you're most grateful for today?
This is really a mix. This is really a mix. First, I think I'm grateful to God Almighty for life, for divine health, for family, for friends. And with whatever is going on that has been on in the past couple of months, that we've seen precious lives taken away from us, it's usually a mixed feeling. And we know that time is really short. But I'm really grateful to God that I'm alive. Maybe God wants to use me to send me on another errand, because we are all here to work for the kingdom of God. And I think I thank God each day, each morning. So today I give glory to God that I made it.
Talking about our season, COVID and all, how have you been able to keep yourself together? Did you have to cordon off people who come into your house? How did you maintain yourself during this COVID season?
No one is actually maintaining oneself, because COVID, like they say, it's like HIV/AIDS, that, you know, if we use the normal pidgin English, AIDS not the show for face, COVID too not the show for face. Yeah. So, and it's something that doesn't really spare the rich, either the poor, small or old. Is just taking lives at will. I had an encounter with COVID. Me too, I tested positive at the time. And despite I was one of those who don't really show much symptoms. My temperature was quite moderate. The highest I think I had was 37.6 at a time, or 4. But meanwhile, I was eating well, I could smell. So it was really different. But the test tested positive, and I don't think the test was quite, it was a genuine test. So I had to isolate. And isolation took its toll. And with COVID, it's not that COVID, once you have it, not that you can't have it again. And that is the sad part. But people who have overcome it, they can use their plasma to heal people who are critical. That's what they are doing, you know, overseas until they can get a vaccine. So with us, it's quite, you still have to protect yourself.
Right.
So there's every way you can still get it.
Okay, let's talk
until we get a vaccine.
Right, exactly. So let's talk a bit about your background. You are a 3-time senator into the... All right, so we'll continue on that part. We're going to go on a quick break. She talked about her family, her religion, married to a Muslim. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Illustrator, a philanthropist recognized home and abroad. Growing up, did you ever think you'd achieve this much at this age?
For me, maybe because of my background, very humble background, I'm the type that I'm very free-spirited. What would I say my background, 60 years ago and now? It's like I'm not those who really want too much of things. I've always wanted to be a teacher. Yes, I love to teach. And maybe right from very little, I knew I wanted to teach. I remember that my mom is not educated. So I remember wanting to start with my mom. But my mom will be one of those who also inspired me. My mom has always wanted to read. So she went to adult school. Even I'm her last baby. Wow. You can imagine. She went to adult school. And one thing I think the resilience and the tenacity I must have gotten from her, when you say people are not educated, that they should thumbprint, my mom said never. She would take her time to write her name.
Oh, wow.
She refused to thumbprint.
Oh, wow.
So that was one of the things I grew up with. But I have always loved life. And getting and also growing in my Christian faith. When I came across a verse in the scripture that said, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, I believe that there's nothing I cannot do. So it depends, except I don't want to do it. Right. But when I set myself to want to do something, I want to make sure I do it very well. But teaching is my first love.
Wow.
I've always loved to teach. And every time I get into any space, I believe I'm supposed to teach something. So that first love, the passion for teaching is there. So what I do now, I regard it as I have a classroom without walls.
Concerning your NGOs, I know you have Daughters of Zelophehad, you have Musical Youth Fiesta, which you do annually.
New Era Foundation.
Tell us
and
a bit
we
about
also
those.
built a home for the widows.
Tell us about that.
New Era Foundation is 20 years now. And Musical Fiesta is 10. Daughters of Zelophehad should be about 3-4 years. Daughters, I'll start with New Era Foundation. New Era Foundation was set up because I've never been a business woman. I don't think God called me to do that. But charity work, God has blessed me tremendously. When I invite people in, you see them come up to want to do that. So with New Era Foundation, we started when my husband, it was since 1999. It was registered in 2000. New Era Foundation, what was it supposed to do was to take care of the youth. Because we say the youth are the future. How well are we prepared for the youth? So, and then there were a lot of things going on. Because through New Era Foundation was when we started the Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee led to Governor for One Day, which is like the incentive for them to really want to stay in school. Because during that time, the infrastructure of education in Lagos State was really, really bad, almost going comatose. Because you see walls falling over children and a lot of things. But with New Era Foundation, we started doing that, but I thought about building a youth camp where we can do more. Do more for the young person who can also be an all-rounder student with good self-esteem. So the youth camp is to do a lot of leadership training, but it's supposed to be residential. So we are still building. Even for my birthday, most of the, I told people I don't want gifts, I don't even want cards. So, because on that day, don't say you are coming to my house to bring any gift. Right. So we have a Oluremi at 60 account, which we also use during Oluremi at 50. Right. So we also had to, open the same account, but at least give it a different name. It's a sub-account, but which would use to raise money for the foundation. Fantastic. So it will be my gift to the foundation. Wow. So we are doing that because we're in the process of building a youth camp. A lot of people donated buildings to us. So even if you like to participate, you could. So they donated buildings to us. We are still in the process. And a few times we had summer camps to test if it goes on, how well we can really have it to run. But we're also doing that. But inside the grounds, we have the patients' home for the childless widows. Musical fiesta. Then I discovered, if you see what young people are doing with music nowadays, it will be very amazing. But then there was a lot of youth restiveness around. So I went to an event in Mountain of Fire, and I saw young girls playing the guitar. And I thought if I could get these girls to play in a different forum where all the children can come in to watch them. One of the things we don't really know that most people, once they see something, they want to, people are covetous in nature. But the Bible said we should covet, spiritual gifts. So when people see that, they too want to go into music. Right. So I just thought, I said, if I'm able to get 5,000 youth into the arena, and which we got a hotel. Before I left there, I got the GM of a hotel, the owner of a hotel. I said, I'd like to use your facility, just for a day to host a charity. And he said, talk to my GM, which I did. When do you have time? I said, once they have time, I believe that there's a leading for God, that God wanted me to do it. And behold, and I think the event was around July. December, we got a date. Wow. So we started it off in 2011. Wow. And we raised money. I got our friends. You have to donate to this. You have to donate to that. They know me with charity work. They donated. And when we are done, we have money left, a lot of it, to host the next one. So we now thought, let's register. So we registered it. So when we are doing that, in my second term, I thought, okay, I'm rounding up my second term. What else are you going to be doing? New Era Foundation, no one is touching that. I'm going back there to work. But what else do I do? God has been speaking to me to talk to women, especially young women like you, and young married couple, because then I see a lot of young people killing themselves, and the Holy Spirit convicted me so much. And I talked to my husband about it, and he felt, I have something to offer, the generation of young people. I said, okay, I got a nod from him. So I decided to do Daughters of Zelophehad. Most people don't even know who Daughters of Zelophehad in the Bible. The men don't preach it. Because one, these are women who they started the women empowerment right at the time of Moses, where the laws were so patriarchy that it never favored women. And they walked up and they changed the laws of Moses. That Moses had to accommodate them to for the first time, for women to have inheritance in when their dad passes on. But when these girls came to negotiate with Moses, they took, it's like, they went from Joshua to the leaders that Moses, constituted, And those ones don't have the answer. They opened the laws of the Torah and they said it's not there. Oh, they talked to Joshua. Joshua said, go and talk to the elder. They were relentless. They went to the elders. The elders said, we don't have an answer. They now went to Moses. Moses now said, I don't either, but let me consult with God. God said, answer these women. They are right. And through these 5 women, the laws were changed.
Let's rewind a bit to how you started when you got married, because you're married to a Muslim, you raised a Christian. They said in the Bible that...
And I'm still a Christian.
Yeah, still a Christian.
An assistant pastor.
And exactly. How did that happen? You're a pastor in Redeem.
Yes.
How did that happen? Did you get a backlash from the church saying you're unequally yoked with an unbeliever? And how did you manage that period?
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
See, everyone is welcome to come to church. Nobody has the right to judge anyone that comes to the church. Those who judge are religious, which we see in the times of Jesus. Everyone, even Christ said, come to me, all those who labor and are heavy laden. I will give you rest. You know, take my yoke, it is easy. My burden is light, so that you will have rest for your soul. The church is a hospital. It's just a spiritual hospital. You don't go to church if you don't need God. So everyone that walks into a church needed something from God. When I met my husband, I didn't even know that it's a big deal. We are from the Anglican sect.
Right.
And I don't think then church was that. A lot of people, a lot of Christians married Muslim men. We just see this man that, you know, maybe, oh, this is a man I can marry or I can walk with. But with my husband, it was quite different. It was my sister that introduced us. All right? So I just thought, oh, I will meet a man that can take care of me. I didn't know men are all the same. Men are all the same. So we thank God. But you see, one of the things that was really profound for me, when we both went home to see my dad asked him, are you a Muslim? That was the first time I would hear that. You're a Muslim. I hope you will not prevent my daughter from going to church. And he promised him. So religion, then for me, I knew something is not right here for the first time.
Right.
Because one, I didn't know the word that much to know that, oh, you're going to be heading into a lot of trouble.
Well, have there been conflicts as a white married to a Muslim where they are doing Ileya?
You mean with my husband?
Yeah, are there any issues
okay.
as a
Don't
Muslim?
you even come to the house? Haven't you been to the house for Ileya once? Anyway, we'll get into that. But the point is, with him, he's quite respectful of my faith.
Right.
And if somebody respects you, it's only just honorable for you to show respect.
Right.
Because he respects my faith, I respect his faith.
Right.
So there is no conflict there.
Right.
It doesn't stop me from praying. Even if some pastors come in to visit, he also has a lot of pastor friends. Please, he has a lot of pastor friends that I met from him.
Right.
Faith is something that is very, very, very complex. But for me, being married to a Muslim, I never had any problem. But when it is time for me to put on hijab during his event, I would do that as a sign of respect.
Right, right.
But that doesn't change my faith.
Right. Right. Okay.
And I think he has his own faith as well,
Right.
but he didn't. And he didn't impose that on our children. I raised my children as Christians, despite they bear Muslim names.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
because that is what I understand.
Okay. It's your birthday today, and on a lighter note, what is that thing you like as a birthday gift from your own husband?
For my own
Your husband.
not my husband.
He should give you something. There's got to be. I'm sure you have discussed
me
with him
tell
what you like him to buy
I don't
you.
discuss with him. I would even tell you. I didn't even tell him anything about birthdays. Like a week or two, he said, okay, what do you want to do for your birthday? I said, a lot of things have happened to us. A lot of people passed that I don't think it should be a time for us to celebrate. We're going to miss a lot of people who are supposed to be there and are not there. So it's supposed to be a day of joy. I said, I don't want it to be that. So I said, no, with all this going on, I'm not doing anything. Okay. And then COVID is there. I just pray that, you know, we have a vaccine in Nigeria to be able to prevent that. And he said, what do you want for your birthday? This man that I know. When if I say, give me this, I'm traveling. What do you need it for? What do you need that amount for? So, you know, and I told him, I said, whatever you think that comes from your heart,
yes,
you can give to me.
Okay.
I don't think I want anything. But if I say a birthday present I would really like, I would have loved to pass the bill on Lagos Special Economic Assistance Bill. If it could be passed into law, would have been my best gift ever for 60. You know why? Look at what is going on in Lagos. They just had an helicopter just fell down. The governor is now fixing the wall, doing a lot of things. Also look at the population of Lagos. Look at flood in Lagos now. The drainages are blocked, roads are bad, and that's why you see a lot of traffic. Getting here, you were telling me, there's so much traffic. So this is Lagos for you.
My final question to you is, it's your birthday. I'd like you to give a gift of advice to young women out there. What is that thing?
Women, that is it, women. You see, life has always been, I always tell people, looking and walking through life, I've seen it as a man's world. And when I see women fighting, I said, this is not the way to go about it. One thing about me, even as a woman, look at me. There's nothing I set my heart to do that I never achieved. You know why? If a man is doing something just once, I do it about 4 or 5 times. I'm very relentless, very tenacious. Once you have faith that you want to do something, do it better than the man, then you'll be recognized. But when you see most of these women, I see that, oh, they are recognized for this and that, you will see that their recognition doesn't last. It never transcends time. But a woman who is going to make impact, you have to be hardworking, do those things that other people don't want to do, and do it well. And always look at each day with a brighter day. That, like the Bible will say, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Rejoicing is part of what I do best. Because the Bible said, the joy of the Lord is our strength. Not the joy of the husband, the joy of the Lord. And I remember asking the Holy Spirit, where do I get this joy from? He said, in the presence of God, there is fullness of joy.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma, for granting this interview. Right. Thanks for staying with us. So, actually, it was a low 15-minute interview, but we only have to extract some of it. I'll be posting the rest of it on my YouTube page. But what are your thoughts, Miriam, on this? Let me come to you.
Okay. Because I haven't met her personally, like one-on-one, but I do remember just a few months after joining the show, we went for her event at the Eco Hotel, and I was quite surprised by her love for God. You know, a lot of people, you see them from afar, you just never know their story, and you come, you know, you imagine who they are and what they do. And she was there without a stitch of makeup on, you know, in her most humble and most, you know, just herself, and she was worshiping God, and she had these people who they had come, and she was so willing to to tell her personal story. And you know me, I always find people who sort of have a humble background, and they have found their way in spite of all the many hurdles that, you know, and sort of become a success. And that is a story that I relate to, that this is where I started, but look at who I am now, and look at how I'm using the platform that I have found myself.
Fantastic. Nima?
Okay, so I had the privilege of meeting her when we interviewed her. Prior to meeting her, I'd heard different sides of her. I had a different version, you know, she's too strict, she's not accommodating, all of that. And then when she came on the show, as we were about to take pictures, she said, oh, my sister. And I was shocked. She's so humble, she's generous. I got a gift from her. And there was this side to religion that, you know, I thought should have a stiff rule around, you know. Some people come on the show, and when the hijab is in front of them, because of their status, you see that difference. But he didn't show in our relations. And, you know, that really surprised me as to her personality. You know, she doesn't have those kind of barriers. She doesn't create those kind of barriers. I was really humbled to see that side of her. It changed my perspective about her entirely. And the fact that, you know, she tried to keep in touch after the interview. But most of us really humbled me. Yes, we did. So I
Happy
appreciate
birthday
that.
to
Happy
Senator
birthday.
Olorem. So she actually sent some gifts to our viewers. She sent us 60 gifts comprising of English Bibles and Yoruba Bibles and the Quran, and also I think for children. So if you're interested in any of these, Yoruba Bible, English Bible, and the
Children's
Quran,
Bible.
please indicate on our social media page that you would like one, and then our producers will get in touch with you to give it to you. We have 60 of these, so we have limited, yes, Mara?
Hashtag Remi
Hashtag
Tinubu 60.
Remi Tinubu at 60. So when you hashtag Remi Tinubu at 60, let us know if you want the Bible, or the Yoruba Bible, or the children's Bible, or the Quran. Please let us know, and we'll get it to you as soon as possible. Once again, from the ladies of your view,
Happy birthday,
Ma. Many more years. That's all we can take on the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.